Hey guys, what is up? It's Card Shuffler 99 here today, and we're going to do something a little bit unusual because we're not showing you guys a trick today. We are actually doing a deck review. We haven't done one of these deck reviews in a long time, so, it's nice to do a deck review every once in a while. You guys want to know how good decks are? Well, we're going to show you how good they are in this video. So, first of all, make sure you check out our Instagram, cardshuffler_99, our Twitter, cardshuffler99, and our Gmail's cardshuffler99@gmail.com for any trick ideas, tips, maybe possible collabs. You never know. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, and that notification button, which is the bell. That bell is very important because the second we post, you guys will get a notification and you guys can check us out right away. Now, there is a link in the description for free my apps. So if you want to get any free gift cards, you guys can go ahead and click that link down below. And yeah, from there you can download apps and actually get gift cards. So, Adam, let's get into the deck review today.
Alright guys, so today we'll be reviewing the Bicycle Gold Dragonback deck, okay? Now I think prior to this we've only opened the green Dragonback, the blue and the red Dragonback, and then we actually purchased a pack of 5 various colored Dragonbacks. So this is one of them, the gold deck. Not much to say about the box. It's just practically a standard box. You got a back reveal here on the side. So let's just get into the actual deck and we'll get started with the review. So basically in this review I'm going to explain the different categories, I guess you could say, of your typical deck. So this will include handling, and this will, it'll include a bunch of these different things. So here we go. We'll pop open the seal and we'll pop right into it. So you can see here the seal, United States Playing Card Company. So this is going to be an air cushion finish deck, just like your standard bicycle decks. Now, I will explain to you guys a little something once I kind of get into the deck a little bit. I'm going to give you guys a little fun fact, I guess you could say. Fun fact of the deck. Alright, so in this deck, what you're going to be getting is, of course, you're going to get your advertisement card, and I think you're going to get a couple advertisement cards right there, okay? And they do have your standard backs on them.
I'll give them a close-up of the back.
So the back design is kind of like this gold-red kind of design here. It is the standard dragon back design, just with a different colorway. Now, here's a quick fun fact. Now, these decks were actually purchased at department stores. So, for example, like a Target or a Walmart, something like that. And something that's interesting to note is that the decks that you buy in department stores are actually completely different relative to the decks that you're going to buy in a Magic store or online on the website. Now, for example, I'm going to give you guys some examples. The ones that are sold in department stores are very cheap. Now, you'll notice that you can get these Dragonbacks in, like, Target or something for, like, the price of a standard bicycle deck. Like, you could probably get one of these for $4 to $5 when, on the market they might sell for $8, for example. Now, the reason is these are actually not made to be the same as the ones that are sold on, like, their website, like their Magic websites and everything. And just to give you guys an interesting idea of how this works is, first of all, the ones in department stores do not come with double backers. So, for example, this deck here does not come with a double backer, and that's because this deck is not intentionally meant for Magic, because it's sold in department stores. It's meant for people who want to play poker, maybe a card game. It's meant for those people. It's not targeted towards magicians who need double backers or gimmicks such as that. So that's one thing. And also, standard bicycle decks that are inside department stores, you can actually see that they're not made to be normal, okay? So if you notice on a standard bicycle deck that you can buy in a department store, the borders actually aren't even the right size.
So like, you can see this one's a lot thinner and this one's a lot thicker.
So that is why this deck, you actually do not receive a double backer. So keep in mind when you're purchasing these decks, I do not, it depends if you contact the seller, but usually they will not tell you whether or not this is going to come with a double backer, because typically they won't even know about it. So, yeah, so that's your quick fun fact of the day. But anyway, let's get into the deck itself. So, the Jokers, you're going to get 2 Jokers. You get a guaranteed Joker, and you're going to get just a normal Joker here, and it's kind of colored with the gold and red colorway of the deck there. And, of course, your ace of spades is going to be your standard bicycle 808 ace of spades. Okay, so that's standard there. Now, I will say this. The red cards are going to be a little bit different than your standard red cards in your standard bicycle deck. Now, this applies to all the dragon backs except for, I guess, the blue, the green, and the blue, the green, and the, what other colors there?
Red.
The yellow, sorry.
Oh,
the
yeah.
blue, green, and the yellow. Actually, the red cards match those. So, like, in the blue dragon back, the red cards are blue, and the yellow, they're yellow, and then in the green dragon back, the red cards are green. But in the gold and the red edition of the dragon backs, they are the same color, and it is a darker red relative to the standard. So this is the standard red compared to the dragonback red. So it's a little bit darker,
yes,
a little more refined, I guess you could say. Everything else is practically standard. The core cards are a little bit darker, having that gold and that red colorway. But yeah, other than that, everything is pretty much standard within this deck. Like I said, it is air cushion finish, so it does handle pretty well. So let's get straight into the handling of the deck. Now, in terms of appeal, I love the way the dragonbacks look. They look great. I think the design is cool, and I think when you have a deck that comes in multiple colors, that only, you know, brings up the appeal, I guess you could say. So this is definitely one of my favorite decks. So, of course, they're going to dribble extremely nicely. It has that nice flow and that nice feel as you brush your fingers across the deck. Of course, because they are brand new out of the pack, they are going to be very, very stiff. And that's something you're going to have to notice as you use these cards, is that bicycle cards tend to be stiff straight out of the box. Now, this typically doesn't apply as you continue to use this deck. It will loosen up a little bit and it will break in. But at the same time, they are going to be very stiff. Now, this is one of the downsides I have for any bicycle deck, is that they don't handle very well straight out of the box. They do spread nicely, but when it comes to riffles, they are pretty difficult. And springs are they're very, very hard to time, just because of how stiff the cards are. So it does take a longer time to break these in, I guess, relative to a deck such as the Artifice deck. If you don't know, the Artifice deck, straight out of the box, it will handle exquisitely. It's not stiff. I guess it is to your preference. Now, there is a common misconception that stiff cards are actually going to handle longer than, I guess, cards that aren't stiff straight out of the box, and that's not true at all. In fact, my Artifice deck typically handles better for a longer period of time than the dragonbacks themselves. So that is my only downside to the dragonbacks, is that they are very stiff straight out of the box. Now, like I said, this is the department store version, so everything is very, very good, I guess you could say. The fans don't look that great on this deck, in my personal opinion. I don't think... Well, okay, I guess you could say they do look pretty well. They do fan pretty well, but this deck here, because it is a department store deck, it doesn't, like, fan as nicely. So what I typically use for a deck like this, if I ever want to fan it out, I would use fanning powder or something like that. If I ever want to get this to, you know, fan, I guess. But, like, when it comes to department store decks, they will fan straight out of the box, but after a while, they are not going to fan well at all. But in terms of everything else straight out of the box, it is, like I said, very stiff. The springing out of the box is not good, in my personal opinion. It does take time to break in. That's not to say that you cannot spring the cards, but, you know, you can definitely spring the cards out of the box. Spreads look exquisite with this deck. Everything... The deck is just, because it is air cushion finish, everything handles very nicely. The spreads are always going to be nice. Like I said, the fans, my bad there. The fans are pretty good with this deck. Typically, when it comes to this deck, because this is not necessarily a magic deck, I would use some fanning powder as it breaks in a little bit more and it gets a little older. Compared to something like an Artifice deck, where after like a couple months with an Artifice deck, they still fan perfectly. This deck, after a couple months, will not fan well at all. Now, in terms of false cuts, this deck is perfect. Of course, they do handle extremely nicely. They don't bulk up necessarily. All the cards are trimmed to perfection. And this is just overall a very nice deck. If I had to rate this deck out of 10, I do give it about a 7 out of 10. So that is my official review for the Bicycle Dragonback. So just a quick summary, quick synopsis of the deck. If you guys are looking for a very cheap option for a quick and nice looking deck, something different from your standard bicycle cards, this is definitely a great way to go. However, keep in mind the stiffness of the cards will be very evident straight out of the box. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is Card Shuffler 99. Peace out.